So Julie, we do so many events here
Yep.
at News 6. Christmas tree lighting, a gift for teaching. And as the years have gone on, things are constantly changing, and it's unfortunate. We had a shooting on the 4th of July in Illinois. And then something we do all the time, we host fireworks at the fountain, and you guys were there, and we had a scare. I wasn't there. I'm obviously on the morning shift, but you were there. We talk oddly, you and I, about a lot of different situations, how things can work out. Why do cops do certain things? Why do people act certain way? But last night, something happened.
Yeah, what is funny is and we'll get to how we got in this situation, as we are all gathered inside the bandshell at Lake Eola, there are lots of people, obviously many different emotions. But one thing that went through my head is, man, I wish Trooper Steve were here, because it is one of those things where, like you said, we talk about scenarios, we talk about what ifs, we cover things, unfortunately, every single day that happen across this country that are very scary.
Right.
But then when you're actually in the situation, it was very evident last night that a lot of people, really including, myself for sure, didn't know exactly what to do, and kind of how it transpired from the location where Matt and I were. And
so where were you guys exactly?
So we were inside the bandshell, which a lot of people, if you've been to a concert at Lake Eola, there's the stage. There's an area behind that stage. It's an enclosed area. It's not very big. It's like a dressing room or whatever.
Not open to the public.
Right. And our crews, we were using that as like our camp. We had our shot set with the view of the fountain. Okay. And so Matt had just counted down to the fireworks. I think the fireworks have been going for about 10 minutes, and we had all been back inside the bandshell, and we're watching, and then you could see like a rush of people across the lake kind of running.
You're behind the bandshell looking, say, towards the fountain.
Yes, we were looking toward the fountain.
To the right-hand side, you start to see.
Right, and then these people start running into the bandshell, which this is a small area. We've got our equipment there. Right, we've got our equipment. The Orlando concert band, they were storing some of their stuff in there. People just start running into the bandshell, saying that there's been a shooting. And, and you're looking, and Matt and I kind of look at each other, and, we're looking, trying to see what's happening. And then, there's a couple that I think we aired their sound. They're saying that people are jumping into the lake, and people are panic-stricken. People are going into the bathroom stalls, closing the doors.
So at this point, has your crew kind of been overrun with civilians? And I don't mean overrun in a negative way, but where you were was a private area. Next thing you know, everyone and their mom is with you.
Right, and our photographers who were out shooting the fireworks and shooting the bandshell, they come in because, of course, there's been chaos running past the bandshell. The Orlando concert band stops playing. They start coming in because they were describing how they were facing the audience, obviously, and they could see people running, but the conductor couldn't see. So they had to motion for him to look around, and then they just stopped and run in there. But it was one of those scenarios where we didn't have a lot of information because we're in it. Our job is to find out information. We're texting, trying to figure out what's going on. Matt grabs a mic, our photographer Darren, they jump into reporter mode. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, you just don't know, do we close the doors? Do we go in the, bathrooms? Do we go out and assess? So I know you've watched a lot of the video. First of all, what is your reaction to seeing all the video that was released?
It's unfortunate because every time I look at stuff, I look at it from a very tactical mind. And being in news has put that empathy in me a little bit to understand why people react the way they do. But people truly got scared. And talking with some of you here in the News 6 building, I can feel what happened to you guys, because it was that fast.
Yeah.
And what you see was just a small crowd take off running and create a wave of fear. And I think what happened, having the shooting over the weekend, I think having some, I believe there were some heightened alerts put out by Homeland Security also. And then now in our backyard, we get people running. I think truly people just wanted to get away. And you, I think, witnessed the true people not thinking, not focused, just, I got to get out of here kind of situation. And I think that's what the panic driven in. And I always say panic will make you blind. And it's easy for me to say that all day because I've been in these situations. But we've got to learn to kind of pause. Now, when this happened, you told me you and Matt kind of just took back for a second to see what was going on. What if any, caused any concern for you guys?
Well, it was almost like a game of telephone, whereas people were running into the bandshell, like they were reporting as fact, like there's a shooter. And, you know, and it's like the climate of the world, you're just like, well, you know, this is, why wouldn't there be, you know, which is awful to say, but people, you know, one person, like there's a shooter, and then that just traveled in a wave around the lake, and people believed that they were running from an active shooter. And whereas we're looking out, you know, we're not seeing like tons of, you know, a huge scene, a huge police presence, like, you know, as far as like lights and things, which you would think would, you know, converge upon the lake if that were happening. But people truly believed. And then that was what was so concerning, because people were like, oh no. And then I saw a chase. And, you know, there were just so many reports from these people who were clearly terrified and clearly believed what they were saying.
I think we talked about it during the morning news today, and even I was surprised, well, not really surprised, Chief Ralone knows what he's talking about, but he really confirmed what we spoke about, and having that plan. We talk about production plans, we talk about logistics and stuff like that, but in today's society, I'm gonna say it, it is part of our life. Planning for the worst case scenario all the time. And whether you're a law enforcement officer or a first responder, we plan for this stuff. Yeah. It's part of our life, it's kind of cynical. But we've gotta accept that as the norm. I was speaking with our news director earlier, and she said something to me, and I told her I was going to say this, and it's like the rest, we look at, as Americans, we look at the rest of the world and go, we don't have to prepare for stuff like that. I don't think those days are here anymore. No. I think we all need to prepare for a threat. No matter what you believe or anything, we're all kind of under attack right now. So I think having a plan, and I mean detailed stuff, Julie, like stuff that you would talk to your daughter about. Before you leave that house, what are you going to? You're going to a concert? Are you going to a UCF football game? Where are you going? And set in the worst case scenario. And it sucks to talk about, because you shouldn't have to talk to your daughter about stuff like this.
Oh, she tells me that my job has ruined everything, because I like suck the fun out of any situation, because I'm constantly like, oh, well, there's an exit and there's an exit. But while I do that, you know, I went to a movie Sunday and I'm like, there's an exit. This is, but you know, at Lake Eola, it's like, we're in the bandshell. I'm like, well, I guess we're in the bandshell. Like, you know, how do you know when you're making that plan? Because you have to make decisions in the moment, depending what happens. How do you know whether to shelter in place or whether to run? Because I feel like there were a lot of people running last night. Well, clearly we know that there wasn't actually a threat, that, you know, might have been better to shelter in place. And we know that people were injured, but it was just such a panic-stricken crowd of 150,000 people. How do you know how to assess quickly?
That is a difficult question. I'm going to say you don't know until you're right there. And I say this with a lot of law enforcement decisions. We can Monday night quarterback each other all night. We could say these people should have never ran, but we don't know until you know. And I said earlier that when we're looking at these things and people are running, you're getting scared. Where are these people going? Why are they going? The thing I ask yourself, why am I asking myself questions? I'm confused. What are we scared of? We're scared of what we don't know. And if we at least took 2 seconds, 2 seconds can ultimately save whether you're jumping in a lake, whether you're going to stand right there, or whether you're going to take off and run. And what I mean by that is observing what's happening. In these videos, you watch some people, they don't move. Now, were they scared? I don't know. Or did they stop and just say, okay, I'm watching what's happening. I'm not going to be part of the crowd. Maybe I need to go this way. And then even practicing talking about, all right, when we get there, if something happens, meet me here. We're not going to run this way. Meet me here. Hard plans that don't change. And now, a massive explosion will change anything. But an active shooter, you can it's cynical, but you can plan for these people now. And it's trash to talk about, and it is what it is. But these people want to ruin people's lives, and they want to make it about them. We can't let fear, but talking to you first thing this morning, it's like I saw it in your face, and it hurts me to know that you guys were in those situations. And it's like, what can we do? We can take conscious time to stop. And it's hard because we talk about this craziness, but you guys were put in everything but actually being shot at. That's a hard place to put at someone who has no life or death experience, and you shouldn't have to. So I would say make a plan, and then when you have that feeling of that freak out moment where you know things are going to take off, pause, stop. Whether that 1 second is going to save you or not, you're going to get your stuff together.
Right.
Where's my daughter? Where's my friend? Let's get to that reunification point that we talked about. Group text message. Have a group text message before you leave the house.
We love a group text.
In news, everyone does, right?
Right.
But have that group text set up.
Right.
Because how many people got separated and then I got to call this person? No. If you're there with a group, and even a point of contact that's not there with you,
Right.
so they know what's going on. And then you can start to really figure things out. Panic ruins everything. They teach us cops this all the time. And it's like, we have to fight that beast. Fear is a good thing to have. We got to be able to control it a little bit.